Before sin ever touched soil, perfection had already collapsed in paradise. What follows in Scripture reads less like divine revelation and more like a case study in cosmic mismanagement. Each era, a new attempt to fix the last mistake. Each covenant, another recall. Heaven falls, Eden falls, humanity fractures, the flood resets, the covenant corrupts, and somehow the fault is always ours. This isn't blasphemy. It's a performance. Because if we're to judge by the record, the Bible itself, then the being it describes is not a God of order, but of ongoing error. So let's open the file. Let's look at the record. Not the sermons, not the songs, not the Sunday smiles, but the actual record of God based on the Bible and the beliefs built around it. Let's start with the beginning. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, and apparently it was perfect. And then there was war in heaven, leading to God having to kick out a third of the angels. I wonder how that happened. These perfect beings were rebelling against their perfect creator in this perfect paradise. Perfect heaven, perfect beings, perfect rebellion, perfect failure. This, my friends, is the fly in the suit. According to the literature, the problem of evil is more diabolical than we could have ever imagined, because it finds its home of origin not in humanity, but in heaven among the heavenly hosts, which means that humanity has been scapegoated for the failures of its alleged maker. If rebellion can exist in the absence of temptation, in a realm untouched by hunger, pain, or ignorance, then perfection was never perfection. It was instability waiting for expression. The war in heaven exposes not human weakness, but divine volatility. How could a being that knows all things be surprised by disobedience? How does one wage a war against an omniscient opponent without being created to do so? Either the rebellion was part of the design or the designer was unaware, and neither option flatters the architect of reality. This is where the myth fractures under its own weight. If the first outbreak of evil happens under divine supervision, then the blueprint of the universe was flawed from the beginning. The first infection didn't start in the human heart, it started in heaven's halls. Evil, it seems, was a native language of the divine realm before it ever became the dialect of men. And so the story of creation begins not with the fall from grace, but with the failure of governance. Before Eden ever wilted, heaven itself had already cracked. The irony is thick. Humanity, forever told that it needs saving, is merely living out the echoes of a celestial mistake that wasn't ours to begin with. Let's move on to the Garden of Humanity.